It smells like literally you're in the garden and you've been growing peppers and you cut one open. No more stalling. It's getting hotter as I'm talking. That is a hot pepper, but it is tasty. Hi, I'm Noah Chaimberg. I'm the founder of Heatonist. I eat hot sauce on every course of every meal that I ever have. I started Heatonist in 2013 with a push cart. Now we've got 2 stores in New York City, and our products are available in 15,000 stores around the country. Today we're going to be blind taste testing 13 different hot sauces and ranking them from super duper to ew. I don't think of myself as a really judgmental guy, so I think I'm gonna end up being pretty lenient, but at the same time, there's some hot sauce that is just not that good. Sauce number 1. It's got a decent little splash to it. So what we're looking for here is the consistency. Does it have some splash, or is it thick and have body? A lot of hot sauces will have additives and gums that thicken them up and keep them looking pretty when they're sitting on the grocery store shelf, but they make it move in kind of an unnatural way that's not so much fun when you're eating it. Super vinegary sauces will have a lot of splash to them. Some people like thicker sauces that don't move as much. So it's all down to personal preference. So it's got a limiter on the bottle, one of these plastic cap things. Professionals call it an orifice reducer. Let's see. Not bad, a little salty, a little touch of cumin. Not much heat at all. Detecting what, a little chili de arbol. Pretty serviceable for everyday kind of needs. If you went to a restaurant and they had this, that would be okay. But it's not something I would ever bring into my house. I'm gonna give this a D, not for delicious. Is it Cholula? It's Cholula. No shade if you like Cholula. It's got its place. You're gonna be coming after me now. I hope we're going a little spicier this time. Definitely has a different consistency and texture. Bright orange and thick like a buffalo sauce, except different from a buffalo sauce I've ever seen because it has what seem to be pepper flakes in it, which normally you don't get in a buffalo. Getting its name from Buffalo, New York, where at the Anchor Bar, they first created the buffalo hot wings. But this is not the traditional hot sauce that you would use to make those wings. So I'm curious. Let's check this out. Wow, that is a very uniform consistency. Let's try it. Usual buffalo flavor, buffalo texture. It's got a little extra twist though. There's definitely some celery in here, which is interesting. The flavor is nice. It tastes buttery. I wonder if there's like real butter in here, but heat's very mild. I'd say it's a little bit salty for me, but overall, not bad. I'm gonna give this a C. Drum roll. Wegmans buffalo style wing sauce. There's no celery. I'm gonna seem like an idiot. Although, hey, natural flavor. Maybe they sprinkled a little natural celery mimic in there. I kind of think that if you're proud of the ingredients you put in the bottle, then you should list what those ingredients are and not hide them under some natural flavor moniker. Just say what it is. If it's spices, list them out. Like, people want to know. The #1 ingredient in this sauce is red pepper sauce. That's always concerning. Canola oil, no butter, gums, thickeners, and natural flavors. I'm not the biggest fan of natural flavor. Perfectly even consistency. If I had to guess without opening it, I'd say this is Tabasco. What makes me think Tabasco is the consistency for one. That moves in a different way. Also the color. It's got this kind of like very light red. Reminds me of childhood. A little sweeter than I remember. Vinegary punch, of course. I happen to be a Tabasco fan. There's a lot of Tabasco haters out there. People are always happy to tell me the hot sauce they like the least. I just feel it's like a point of validation for what I'm doing. Like, oh, thank God you came along because I hate Tabasco. I don't, I love Tabasco. But that being said, I can't remember the last time I actually bought Tabasco. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on this side of B. It's quality for what it is. It's simple, and for me, it's a nostalgia play. Wow. Tabasco it is, from Avery Island, Louisiana. 3 simple ingredients: distilled vinegar, red pepper, and salt. Classic. B+ for me. Looks interesting. Nice yellow color, black flecks. You don't see as many yellow hot sauces at the grocery store. Smells really nice. Gingery. It's good. There's other spices too. It's like ginger and I want to say nutmeg because I think my brain's just tricking me into thinking nutmeg because it associates ginger with nutmeg. Very, very acidic. Heat's pretty decent and it's kind of the front of the tongue heat. So habanero I always find will get you like in the back of the throat a little bit. Front of the tongue, usually more
tropical peppers.
I'm going to give this an A because it's quite tasty. I'll put it on meats, like grilling chicken with that would be fantastic, or fish. And I think I know what it is too. Queen Majesty's Scotch Bonnet and Ginger hot sauce. Boom. Queen Majesty out of New York City. I know this sauce well because Queen Majesty is a friend of mine. Started out making hot sauce for an office hot sauce competition. She would win every year. Somebody said, you gotta start selling this stuff. What I really like about this sauce is the quality of the ingredients, the freshness, really strong, identifiable flavors. Scotch Bonnet comes from the Caribbean, so it's very famously associated with Jamaica, the pepper of the islands. And they call it a Scotch Bonnet because of the shape of the pepper. It looks like some old type of Scottish hat. What I really like about Queen Majesty, you can taste all the ingredients. The Scotch Bonnet, the sweet onion, the lemon, the ginger. So it's really a great example of how you can lean into specific flavors in crafting a hot sauce recipe. Actually, at my own wedding, my wife is an artist and painted a label and then partnered with Queen Majesty to surprise me at the wedding with a custom hot sauce from one of my favorite flavors. Really holds a special place in my heart. Another bright orange color. It's got that buffalo vibe, but this has some flecks of a red pepper skin inside here, and then it's got a bit of a different consistency. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Coming out very smooth and uniform. Garlicky, whatever it is. This could be like a garlic buffalo type of sauce. To be honest, I'm not super excited to try this, but I'll reserve judgment. Okay. That's different. It's garlicky, but also has a weird sweetness to it. What's that other flavor? I don't know, but whatever it is, I don't like it. I want it to go away soon, please. This is gonna mess me up. I give this one a D, keep them in school. For me personally, this sauce is just not doing it. And aftertaste, you know, when that little amount leaves that kind of taste in your mouth, not thrilled. Sorry to whoever put their love and care and passion into making this. Oh, that's the flavor. People are gonna think that this was rigged and that I knew. I had no idea. Now these guys are gonna send somebody to come kill me. Great. These are nice people that make this product, so now I feel terrible. But truffle's not for everybody, I guess. That's the moral of the story. I'm not a truffle lover. There's a lot of other people that would probably put this way up here. I'm gonna make a lot of enemies doing this. I really didn't think this through. All right, it's got good amount of movement to it, not super splashy. The way that it's moving suggests to me that this is gonna be more on the natural side because products without thickeners and gums will just tend to have more of that type of movement. It tastes very familiar. Not quite putting my finger on it, but it's good. Very tangy, nice heat level. It's garlicky with a touch of sweetness. So in terms of heat level, flavor, aroma, I would say this sauce is an A, a very solid everyday sauce. I would not be disappointed to put this on any meal. I think it's the Hot Ones Sriracha, but I'm not positive. Wow, the Hot Ones Pickled Garlic Sriracha. This is the hottest one I've had so far. Not to say that it's hot, I'd say this is like, you know, a 3 out of 10. When dealing with hot sauces, we like to use a 0 to 10 scale, or you can go to 11, push it up a little bit. But it's really about, you know, capturing the ranges of heats, and it's not as much about trying to zero in on a Scoville. We really look at the Scoville heat index when it comes to chili peppers themselves. People will often ask about the Scoville units as it relates to the hot sauce. There was a pharmacist, Wilbur Scoville, who created this Scoville heat index, and it was a way to rank how hot something is. Take a little extract of the pepper and you'd mix it with 1 drop of the extract, and how many drops of water do you need to dilute it with before an expert can't taste the heat anymore. Let's say a ghost pepper with 1,000,000 Scoville units, let's say 1 drop of that ghost pepper would need 1,000,000 drops of water to dilute it before you didn't taste the heat from it. Even as we start going up in heat, it's important to remember that hot sauce is really about the marriage of heat and flavor. So no matter how hot you go with it, it still has to have great flavors. Let's get some more hot sauce going. So looking at the sauce, you can start to judge, but you really shouldn't, because there's no way to know what it's gonna taste like just based on what you see through the bottle. But the aroma can tell you a good bit. In this case, the aroma is saying it's Frank's, no doubt about it. Anyone who's ever been to a dive bar knows the taste. It's good, better than adding salt to your food, because at least this way you get a little heat alongside of it. It's kind of classic for a reason. I'm gonna put Frank's here in the C tier. It's not thrilling, but it's fine. I really hope it's Frank's, otherwise we do have to retape that if that's not Frank's. For me, when I taste Frank's, I'm tasting mac and cheese, chicken tenders, all the stuff that you eat Frank's with, because I don't really have a particular memory of Frank's, but it's all this flavor associations. Lo and behold, we should have put money on this one. No shame, Frank's is a good sauce. Aged cayenne peppers, distilled vinegar, water, salt, and garlic powder. Keeping it simple. Frank's and a lot of the American legacy style of hot sauces just go back to a simpler time when hot sauce wasn't as popular, a more limited set of ingredients to think from. So people, when they thought hot sauce, they really thought, oh yeah, it's just vinegar, chili peppers, a little salt, maybe garlic. I'm not sure I'd say people love it, but people reach for it again and again, which is important. It's saving a lot of people from bland, uninteresting meals. Wow, that's got some sticking power. Not necessarily a bad thing, by the way. So we got a rich red color, very uniform consistency. I can already tell you this is Huy Fong Sriracha. A lot of body. You see these drops just didn't even flatten out. They just sit as little mounds of sauce. Garlicky, tangy. It's not quite like it used to be though. Tastes a little like corn. It's a little weird. People are really gonna come after me if I do this. I wouldn't eat it on its own. On food, it's probably okay. Let's go with the C. Oh, I am actually kind of good at this. Credit where credit is due. David Tran, if I'm not mistaken, came over to America with a recipe and a dream and started making sauce and really expanded a lot of people's horizons on what hot sauce could be. They deserve all of the success that they have had. And hot sauce has certainly evolved a long way since, this became one of the few options beyond those classic American styles of just vinegar and chili peppers. This might just be for me personally, but I feel like going back to this sauce now, predating when I got into the hot sauce business, kind of feels like going back and watching your favorite childhood movie again, and like maybe it just doesn't hold up in quite the same way as you remember. So maybe you're better off just leaving it alone and just cherishing the memories. So this is different. Definitely a lot of pepper particles in here. Dark red color. It's got some movement to it. Too salty. Heat's very mild, say a 1 on a 0 to 10 scale. It's almost touch smoky, a little bit of chipotle or chiltepin or something like that. In terms of where I would rank this, it's okay. We'll give this our first B. Because of the saltiness, I think I'd be okay with putting this into like a stew where you could balance by taking out some of the other salt in the recipe. But on its own, this isn't bringing like the most complex flavors. Wow, that is a fancy bottle of hot sauce. Jalapeño, brown sugar, white vinegar, water, salt, lime juice, garlic powder, apple cider. All the ingredients are organic. But yeah, pretty salty. Look, it's a B. It's a very fancy cap with this little wooden thing. It's like the world's most expensive Cholula. This is the David Beckham son one, right? He's gonna kill me. If eating organic is really important to you, it's nice to know that this is an all organic product. Seems like they definitely spent a lot of attention on the packaging, but it's all good, to each his own. It's very pretty, I love it. All right, this has got some pepper particles in here. If I had to guess some spices too, some red spices like cumin or paprika. Got some decent movement to it. This type of bottle is called a woozy bottle, most common for hot sauces. I think they call it a woozy because it tips over so easily. That's just what I always thought. Definitely tastes familiar, mild heat, a little bit of saltiness. I'd say overall, well-rounded. This tastes like it would be good on like nachos. Nothing to object to, no bad aftertaste or anything like that. I'm gonna say that this is another B. Could be fine to cook with. It's not really gonna elevate what you're doing, but it'll add another dimension and a touch of heat to it. The kind of sauce you'd get at the grocery store. It tastes familiar. I don't know, it's something run-of-the-mill. What is it? Oh, Tapatío. What did I say? Put it on some nachos, huh? It's classic for a reason. Let's see the list of ingredients. Water, red peppers, salt, spices, garlic. They pull it off pretty well, considering that's the same ingredients list as some of the things that we put further down. Say these guys are executing pretty decent. When you see two sauces that have the same ingredient list, but they taste very different, it's because the quality of each of those ingredients matters a lot. And then what you do with it in the kitchen also is super important, right? So if you're just taking your chili peppers and tossing them into the grinder whole, versus if you're taking them lovingly one by one and cutting off the stems so that your product will have a nicer consistency and texture, was something charred or seared or baked before? Or is it what we call blend, boil, and bottle, where you just take all the ingredients, put them into a pot, blend it up, boil it up, and then put it in the bottle? Ooh, that's a different color. Gravy-ish looking color, and it's got kind of like a gravy-ish consistency too. Let's see. It's got a nice aroma. It smells like miso soup. Wow, it's really good. Ooh, you can taste wasabi, a little sweetness from fruit, almost like a little soy sauce quality to it. So I know what this is, because there's only one sauce that sounds anything like all of that. The people at home are gonna think this is rigged. Where do I want to put this? It's between the S and the A. I would go with S because this is really exceedingly unique and very different. You go with A because this is not for every occasion. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. S for this one. I think I know that this is Heatonist No. 9, which is a collaboration sauce that we did with Adobo Loco out of Maui, Hawaii. Heatonist No. 9. The ingredients on here is tamari, kombu infused rice vinegar, sugar, lemon, umeboshi, plums, and salt with shiso, onions, shiitake, habanero, and sea beans. Interesting little plant that grows where kind of fresh water meets salt water. It's like a mouth of a river or deltas, and it's a plant that takes a lot of the salt out of the water. So it's actually really good for climate change where the ocean level's rising, it's coming into fresh water. These plants take the salt out of that and help to keep the rivers fresh water. So we made a sauce using that as a salt substitute and to add some flavor. I give it an S because that is really something special. Each year, the team at Heatonist picks one ingredient that's never been used in a hot sauce before, and then we come up with a concept around that, and then we partner with one of their great hot sauce maker friends to create a new recipe. The ingredient that was never used in a hot sauce before was salicornia, which is sea beans. And this is kind of our annual flex to show we don't even know what hot sauce can be yet. The limits keep expanding out. The thick boy. A lot of material, pepper. I also see little black specks. Tells me there might be something charred in here, which could be really nice. Char, grilling, you know, these are all cooking techniques that can totally change the flavor of some different ingredients. It's really good. It's a little sweet, a little herbaceous, little acid citrus. It's got this nice smoky char on it. Oh, I know what this is. This is Korn hot sauce from the band Korn with charred corn. This is really good stuff. I'm just gonna have lunch here if you guys don't mind. This one's earning another S. I would use this sauce on everything. Put that on a sandwich, put that on some eggs, put that in soup, put that on a salad. Boom. Korn hot sauce, here to slay. The band Korn reached out to me a few years ago. They said they wanted to make a hot sauce. They've been touring for 30 years, and after each show, they'd be in different cities and towns all over the world. They would order food from whatever restaurant was still open, and the one consistent, constant thing was that they would have hot sauce always. I said, first of all, if we're making a corn hot sauce, we're gonna put corn in it because there is no other hot sauce on the market that's made with corn. So I worked with our good partners at Heartbeat Hot Sauce to char the corn. And I said, okay, what ingredients come from Bakersfield, California, where the band is from? As we dug into that and adding different herbs, jalapeno and pineapple and chipotles and serrano, just a really fantastic overall sauce. The coolest concert experience of my life was I was meeting with the guys, tried a bunch of hot sauce, finished the meeting. They said, are you sticking around for the show? There was 2 folding chairs sitting on the stage for me and my friend. So we're sitting there watching, and my friend gets up at some point to take a picture of the crowd. He's like, yeah, my wife's never gonna believe this. And in the middle of the song, the bassist in Korn, he comes and he sits down in the open folding chair next to me. So I'm sitting there. A once in a lifetime concert experience. Thank you. Looks rich. Seems like it's got a little more gravity than the other ones. All right, one of these things is not like the others. Nice thick texture, rich gloss to it, almost like it has a little bit of oiliness in it. It smells like literally you're in the garden and you've been growing peppers and you cut one open. All right, no more stalling. That is a hot pepper. That's hot. We just went from like, we've been playing around the 1s, 2s, and now we just went straight to 11. It's getting hotter as I'm talking, but it is tasty. What would I use that in? I would use that in some type of chicken wing eating competition where I wanted people to drop out. You know, if I was making like a big pot of chili or something, that would be great. Or, you know, if you just really wanted to feel something, like I feel it going up the back of my head. It just tastes only like hot peppers. This feels like being on a roller coaster. You're strapped in and it's scary and it's thrilling, but it feels very intentional. You don't want to say, get me off this ride. You're having fun with it. For that reason alone, I'm gonna give this an S for something seriously special. And I believe, because it tastes very familiar, I believe this is Pepper X. If it's Pepper X, that means it's gotta be the last dab. Wow, the last dab, Xperience. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I am really happy to be able to identify my own babies. When we were creating the first version of the last dab back in 2017, I said we gotta do something really special if we're gonna do this. I called Smokin' Ed Curry. He was the Guinness Book of Records holder for the world's hottest chili pepper. He's a famous pepper breeder. Told him what I wanted to do and Ed was into it. And we put out a bunch of amazing sauces. Back then, the Guinness World Record holder was called the Carolina Reaper, but I knew he had something hotter. Over the course of 10 years, he had been going from plant to plant with a Q-tip, touching the flower of this one to this one, looking at the different qualities of the peppers and created this pepper that we now call Pepper X. And we came up with the first recipe. We were doing the package in the bottle and I said to Ed, what's the pepper called? And he said, well, not quite sure yet. I said, okay, I'm just gonna put Pepper X as a placeholder for the meantime. It ended up sticking and the pepper became known as Pepper X. In 2024, in October, entered the Guinness Book of Records as the world's hottest chili pepper, clocking it at over 2 million Scoville heat units. So there's only 2 ingredients in this bottle, Pepper X and vinegar. So what's in here is over 91% Pepper X. Pepper X pepper, distilled vinegar, Pepper X pepper powder, Pepper X pepper distillate. We put the powder and the distillate in here to really round out the heat experience. The fresh pepper that'll totally activate your mouth and your tongue and get your sweat going. And then the powder that has this long heat finish and kind of goes down your spine. And then there's the distillate, which kind of bypasses all that and just goes straight to your brain and makes you feel a little bit like you're on some kind of drug. Got our range here. If you ask me what of these sauces would I use most often, I would probably have to say the pickled garlic sriracha. Nice heat level, goes on anything, great for eggs in the morning or for sandwiches or anything you have for dinner. I'd go with this pickled garlic sriracha. If we were doing some class awards here, musical achievement, we got our friends at Korn. For style, I'd say this cloud hot sauce definitely got its own unique look to it. In terms of artistry, I think this Queen Majesty is pretty special. Eccentric, I think the kombu, wasabi, and umeboshi really gets high marks. And in terms of just big personality, the last dab is hard to beat. These are ranked according to my taste. Your taste could be totally different. So if you like something from down at this end, that's wonderful. You know, what's most important is that you're having fun, you're making your food more exciting. That's what counts here. As long as you're using hot sauce, you're doing it right.